players might be ready. I'm not quite sure I am, because both of these teams are ridiculously bloodthirsty. If we have another Turkey-style matchup with like 50 kills in 12 minutes, I'm done. Like, I can't keep up.
Yeah, that certainly was an interesting way for Turkey to start the tournament, but they played straight into CIS hands, so I really want them to peel back. You know, they're a very smart team. Really shot call well in this game and see if you can get back on the same page, because they ran a great wombo combo comp and never let it come online because of how they played that early game.
And of course, for this particular matchup again, CIS, they lost earlier against LATAM. They had a decent early game, and then it kind of fell to pieces as LATAM snowballed ahead. It was the Cassidy into Riven matchup that really unraveled for CIS. So I think pick some bans maybe you want to think about, and then also making sure they don't make those same mid-game mistakes.
Yeah, 100% agree. And also focus where the problems are going to be. You know, they ran this Graves brand kill lane, and they weren't able to get anything done down there. In fact, Lex was 3 levels behind in the late AM game at one stage. So if you are going to pick up a pick like Graves, it's very risky because of his short range. You need to massage it through the part of the game to get things done in the mid-game.
Well, we'll find out how these teams handle themselves. Of course, earlier today, they were also in the show match that took place on Ultimate Bravery. And there's also players that will be a little bit familiar with one another due to the proximity of the servers over in Europe. And of course, a lot of the CIS guys, they do flirt with the EUNE servers from time to time and try to climb those ladders. So we're into picks and bans. Evelyn removed off the table, so Dimashka will not get his hands on the Invisible Assassin. And Kindred is the reply to Crystal.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you have to look at like the Crystal. Does he want to go with Rek'Sai? Do they give Elise over to Dimashka? Or how does he want to play this? Because, you know, Crystal, huge Rek'Sai player back in the Turkish league, and Kira even getting some respect. You know, we mentioned the fact that he stood up in the Riven lane early game at least, but then kind of fell apart as the team fighting phase happened. Definitely one of the big carries for the CIS region, and a lot of support needs to be given to their mid lane.
Well, for the second time today, Misfortune and Mundo both up and available. For a less frequent time, Elise is still up, Rek'Sai is still up, as you've mentioned. There's a lot of these priority champions to think about. What will both of these squads decide? Turkey feel Dr. Mundo needs to get removed. Will it be a Misfortune reply from CIS? And at this point in time, I'm going to have to remind Stress of his Soraka discussion with Yamato, because I feel like he's currently winning. In fact, the last ban as we get back on topic is the Rumble. So CIS do not want to give Thaldrin that top lane champion.
That is just so much respect to Thaldrin up there in the top lane, taking away one of his most played champions. The Rumble means that maybe Smurf wants to try and play something a little bit more mid-game centric and is scared of being, I guess, out-team fought by Thaldrin. And Crystal is willing to pick up the Elise over the Rek'Sai.
So no real surprise there. At least Dimashka should get his hands on a not only a comfort pick, but a power pick as well. Two of the, if not two of the strongest junglers on the patch at the moment. And for CIS, the world is their oyster. They've got a lot of champions available to them. If you were to pick 2 power picks, what would you pick and why, Spawn?
You know, I'm looking towards, well, they just locked it in. I was going to say Tahm Kench, Lulu, set yourself up for a hyper carry composition. I don't really mind who it is at this point of the game, but Elise is very good at picks, and 2 champions that take picks off the map completely is Tahm Kench. I'm actually really surprised we haven't seen as much of him. He has, I guess, I think that was the Ultimate Bravery game.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen him apart from that.
No, not at all. So, surprise, and we'll see if the Lulu can be pulled off effectively here in conjunction with Tom. Now, Lex has played a bunch of Kalista in the past. He's got Sivir, he's got Ashe, he's got Graves. These are on the old patch. Need to see if he's going to pull out the likes of a Jinx, maybe, which we've seen comboed with the Tom so effectively.
So this is what Yamato and I talk about a lot. People look at new patches and think, I have to play all the new stuff. But we don't really change the old stuff all that much. And you know, Tahm Kench got typed a little bit, but he still denies any form of pick. You know, you have a look at Lulu, who saw so much play at Worlds. She still has all the buff that goes into the AD carry, and it is a big AD carry meta at the moment. So even if Lex takes something like a Lucian that can potentially stand up to the Misfortune in lane, I mean, SKT made a killing off running Lulu, Lucian throughout the entirety of their playoff run, and potentially can do the same here, the CIS region.
And you could argue maybe even the synergy is even better with the cooldown reduction, the passive stacks, and help picks throwing out additional shots. For Turkey, they've locked in that Mel fight, so we're expecting that to be in Tholdren's hands. You know, you assume if Dimonko's on point, he can just swallow up the most important target, but you can't swallow up a team. So, CIS mean they cannot stack up against the threat here of Misfortune and Malphite and their wombo combo ultimate.
Yeah, so Lex locks in the Tristana. That's the hyper carry we were looking for. Something with some attack speed that can really benefit from this. I would love a Gragas pickup, just because a lot of Misfortune's damage right now is the ultimate as the game progresses. We saw, you know, Malphite's flying in, Bard ultimates going down, and the big Misfortune ulti going across. Now that you are Damashka, all you have to do is piff a barrel at her. All of a sudden, break that channel. Everybody
on the Star Ladder CIS team can interrupt. You can polymorph, you can knock up if you're Lulu, knock away for Gragas, swallow if you're the Catfish. Hell, even the Buster Shot can get rid of that threat. So I really like that the pickup thus far from CIS. We talked about picks and bans, maybe needing to change, and it feels like they've got some good options. I also like it against Irelia and Malphite, because there are tools to get rid of every single threat that Turkey's put forward. But is that a mid-lane Irelia, or a mid-lane Malphite, or a... you're the color caster, you figure it out.
Yeah, no, I'm not even going to give this one a crack. I'm going to say Turkey can do whatever the heck they want with their team composition right now. I actually thought it might be a support Malphite, but they are hovering a brand currently. So, you know, maybe a mid-lane Aurelia would be a little bit more sound, just because she deals with ranged champions better. But honestly, I don't know out of Turkey.
Right, so with Bard locked in, you've even got some like counter synergy, because a Bard ultimate is then going to interrupt the Malphite and Misfortune ultimate, or it's going to set it up beautifully.
And who knows, it's probably going to do both if we've learned anything today.
So, CIS, they now need to decide, is this Lulu mid, or will this be Lulu top? Kira's got some history playing Lulu, whereas Smurf has traditionally been a little bit more of a bruisery frontline type player. Nas, Hekarims, he's even got Fizz in his pool.
I'm really worried right now. If Smurf goes with what is a full Protect the Tristana comp, that means they cannot be caught out with the Wombo combo once, because if that Tristana falls down, there is no damage on the rest of the team to be able to take anything through. Nah, especially if he goes Black Cleaver, gives them a little bit more hope in those late game team fights, so we'll see if that is the final choice.
It also gives another option. Nah can deal with top lane Malphite if he gets ahead. In some cases Irelia as well, but Split Push is now a tool that has been incorporated into the CIS team composition. So those options are available for them.
And we keep saying this about these Misfortune comps, because they rely so much on Wombo. You have to commit a lot of resources to initiating the fight. You don't really get that much peel as a Misfortune, generally left to deal for yourself. If there is a flank that can come through from Smurf, get Holy Phoenix in that big ultimate, really disrupt the backline, all of a sudden they need to start peeling back here, Turkey, and Lex will be able to chase and chase and chase for days.
That's exactly what Lex wants to do. Get those resets, get the Penta if possible. We saw it so many times in the summer splits in the European LCS, but for CIS now, with their roster lineup, they're looking to bounce back from the loss to LATAM. Turkey looking to bounce back from their loss to Southeast Asia, and we've actually got two more team comps that could want to tussle or skirmish, but I think time and farm is the #1 priority for CIS. They need to get that Tristana into a comfortable spot. They need to get Nar and Lulu also itemized up, and then group. That's so important for them.
Yeah, they're a 2-item composition, and you know, we saw it time and time again where you get those 2 items, you start picking objectives that you want, but you don't really commit to fights because of the control they have around the map. And then as soon as that happens, as soon as you get towards the 3 and 4 items, you can really start taking the team fight. So different stages of the game, they're looking for different things.
And let's find out who can find what they want first. Guys, for the last 5v5 of day 1 from IWCA, it is, of course, the Turkish squad taking on the CIS squad. Former teammates in Ultimate Bravery. Now facing each other for their first win of IWCA. And interestingly, we noticed a trend of the 5 previous games. 4 of them have had blue side victories. Now, it is a very, very small sample size. But of course, the previous game was the first time today that red side was able to pick up a victory. So let's see if CIS and the Star Ladder can produce another.
Yeah, and automatically camera zooms in on that Aurelia mid lane because Aurelia very much beats Lulu in a top lane matchup, but because of the length of the lane and the fact that Lulu can just continually shove out, Naru has to play this very carefully. And if there's a winning matchup ever, it will be that Smurf into Tholdra, and Nah very good at poking out the Malphite.
Yeah, the entire kit of Nah can deal with everything Malphite has to offer. So Smurf, small advantages in terms of the trade. No lane swap shenanigans again, so only one time today have we seen teams go for some fun plays, and it was SCA against Oceania earlier.
Yeah, where they completely mind-gamed the Oceanic region. I love that play still. I think that's going to be something teams go back and look at and try and replicate because it was very successful.
It's exactly what I'm hoping for, because we have a lot more games on Friday and Saturday before we start to round out who is going to get closer to the All-Star event in Los Angeles. But take a look down this bottom lane. Double Doge going to poke out Lex just ever so slightly, as Demonco now has the duty of defending him. And Holy Phoenix on this very early game, Misfortune. I personally can't stand the MF passive. Boop, 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 boop. You shall that. There are things that give me anxiety, and that sound effect is one of them.
Thank you, Mr. Observer, for getting us off the bottom lane then. One thing I do want to point out, though, is probably the two best auto-attacking harass champions in lane. Bard with those meeps, Misfortune with that new passive where you swap targets, get all that bonus damage out, means that this is going to be very hard for Lex and Demonco to weather the storm, but they really do need to, because that is the CIS's one win condition.
Well, let's find out if they've got the ability, because weathering the storm and playing slow early game is not something these teams have been able to do. And with Dimashka being pushed away from the Golem, the blue Sentinel, he's about to get bored, and that timer ended up saving Dimashka's life. And that is a mistake. That is really, really tough.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out, if you're a jungler, that potion sucks. Like, even if you're going to upgrade it, like, it's so hard to do your first clear as Kira gets caught out, has to burn a summoner spell, that it's just not worthwhile, because this is what happens. All of a sudden, Crystal level 3, he can clear as quickly as he wants, still got a potion in his back pocket. The invade will come in time and time again, and now Dimashka cannot deal with it.
Well, Dimashka does have the ability of scaling and time on his side as well, but more eggs in the don't mess up early basket is not something you really want to be toying with.
Yeah, especially when you have scaling lanes. What that does is put a lot of pressure on the jungler to be able to keep them safe. Not necessarily gank, but the presence of a counter gank definitely needs to be there, as well as all the wards that you can see, because he got forced back early, is much further behind.
And Holy Phoenix and Dumbledore still looking to trade with Lex and Demonco, but no real advantages are being gained here yet. Holy Phoenix is doing a good job of CSing, and Lex is actually not pushing too heavily with that explosive or satchel charge, rather.
Oh, they're in trouble here.
No stun yet. Exhaust comes down from Demonco onto Holy Phoenix. He's flashed away. Lex is going to rocket jump forward, gets swallowed by Demonco. Teleports are being channeled. Smurf is about to go Mega Gnar. They'll give him some resistances. That Thaldren's TP followed through thereafter. Nothing comes of it except the summoners.
Yeah, and when you look at it, that was actually a massive advantage for the CIS region, because they got everything out of Misfortune. And the one thing I did say about MF, very immobile. If she does not have her summoner spells, I know Kobe hates that as well. Why do I do it? She's immobile. So need to be able to keep those up at all times, especially with the threat of a Gragas gank.
Well, low mobility is the term we'll try use, or just annoy Kobe. Kira's in trouble and will go down. Crystal's just going to sink the fangs in and pull off a very easy kill on an overextended mid laner.
Yeah, and once again, this is exactly why Aurelia beats a lot of ranged champions. Turret takes one shot at a creep, you're able to fly in there, or your backline whittles it down, stun up, and have the second dash available to be able to get a lot of work done. So that's a little bit disappointing from Kira, who we put a lot of pressure on to perform well.
And Crystal is then going to rotate around to the top lane. What an incredibly successful turn of events. He manages to get a kill mid, a summoner spell top, think he was even around for that bottom lane pressure, and now all of a sudden Smurf is at risk of being dove once Solden gets 6.
Yeah, and what the heck was that flash out of Smurf? He legitimately walked into the middle of a creep wave, was no threat of being stunned, and still burnt the summoner spell. So just so much pressure being extended right now from Crystal, and this is what we wanted to see. Crystal, Naru really putting the screws into the CIS region, having that high pressure where they just can't afford to scale up to the late game.
And with Crystal's ability to impact the early game, it's going to give Thulgrin that advantage in a lane that he should have been losing. Holy Phoenix built himself up a 16 CS advantage over Lex's Tristana on a champion that he should have earned the advantage. Dumbledore, he's going to throw out the magical journey, and he gets away. Any other champion, that would have been a kill. Maybe a fail flash would have led to a kill, but magical journey and Dumbledore gets out alive.
Yeah, keeps the summoner spell, walks over a shrine, back to full health, just trolls around the map as a bard, happy as
can be
anything at the moment. And right now, Crystal, even though he isn't farming at the same rate as Damajka, is just implying so much more pressure. And Lex and Damonka under this turret continue to take abuse.
And because he got first blood, he is actually ahead in gold. So not only has he got all that pressure spawn, he's even ahead in effective gold. Finds a cocoon, and look at this burst damage. Defensive flash from Damashka, repel, flash over the wall from Naru, and Crystal gets a second kill of the game.
I'm actually going to call Crystal out on that one. As Elise, you generally do your job at stages of the game because of your kit. Like, you have scaling percentage health in both forms, a good stun. Really need to get this Aurelia going. That's the second kill he's taken away from Naru, and even though he's up in CS, Aurelia does need to hit that Trinity Force power spike relatively early in the game to be effective.
Yeah, especially considering the scaling that the CIS region has. So Holy Phoenix now going to avoid any further damage. Crystal with another gank. Crystal saying SOFM's not the only good jungler at IWCA, or Revolta or a few others, but he wants to put his name in the list for argument's
there he goes.
sake. And he's going to jump back in. The spiders can eat fishes. Damonka's going low. The stun connects from the Cosmic Binding, and Crystal does not donate more.
And Crystal takes another kill. Like, let's compare Crystal to Carbon. Sure, Carbon's not having a lot of success. He literally walked next to the AD carry in the bottom lane, so Radia was guaranteed the kill. Once again, no reason for a jungler to take that. Get your lanes ahead, because then your job is done.
Spawn, this is an all-star event. Turkey's team was voted in the #1 players for every single role, and the only team to have that. Do not question Crystal. He is doing what is correct as the #1 jungler from Turkey.
I just want him to go like, I don't know, like Rylai's Void stuff or something right now and just go legit carry Elise, because he's 3-0-0, has 100% of his team's kills and needs to be able to take over the map even further with that goal.
We'll find out if he can. Somebody else who wants to take over the map is Holy Phoenix, because he's flying on boots of swiftness. I'm not sure when the last time is I saw those boots. Actually, I do remember a very fun story, Spontex of Dragonborns from 2013 in EU. He wore shoes in real life that looked like boots of swiftness.
It brings me back to when I used to watch A Lilac play, and he would go like Lichbane boots of swiftness or Nivea in the mid lane. I think that's the last time that I've legitimately seen them in a tournament game. Very strange pickup from Holy Phoenix, but hey, he's strutting his stuff everywhere right now.
Gotta go fast, gotta go fast, gotta go fast. And if TCL and Turkey are looking for skirmishes with an Aurelia and Elise or a Malphite, you know, make a 2-on-2 or 3v2 because of how quickly Holy Phoenix can get there, especially with Strut. Why not? Crystal's looking for more. Kira's going to go away. Crystal's almost going to 1v1, but underestimates the HP of Wild Growth, and Kira shuts him down.
Yeah, Kira able to pick up a kill and the red buff. So all of a sudden, this range versus melee and the extra gold that is donated over to the mid laner means Kira right back into this game, pretty much even on gold now. And Naru's like, damn it, Crystal, give me a kill.
Yeah, and this time around, Crystal just overstepping his bounds, feeling stronger than he really was.
He really was like, I am SOFM right now.
Yes,
I don't have the exhaust, but I will solo anyone.
I don't have the execution abilities. Well, he does have the execution abilities in his kit, I guess. Actually, I've got to look at the numbers to see which is better, the Elise Qs or the Lee Sin Qs.
Lee Sin's always better, man. Lee Sin, best champion in the game.
Well, SOFM proved that. Cosmic Binding, as well as that meat-empowered auto, really chunking Lex out. And I know for a fact the observers are keeping us in this lane to hear this noise.
I now find it relaxing.
Thank you.
Naru actually gets a blue buff donated over to him, and it looks like they will meet on the top side of the map here, potentially. Both junglers in the area.
Tomashka does have access to that explosive cask, so there are some tools to get rid of a threat. But for Turkey and their 1,000 gold lead on what is now officially Thanksgiving all across the United States, they are drawing on their NA power to hopefully help them out. Maybe NA summer split power, not world power. And we see those dashes from Naru. He's going to not be able to land that equilibrium strike into Kira. This is those transcendent blades. But look, 20-odd CS lead with only the Sheen and the Phage. And already he's bullying Kira away from lane and away from CS.
Yeah, he certainly is. And Kira has that double buff, so it's only going to get worse as it falls off. This actually might be my time to shine, though, because I have been talking about an Aurelia build for quite some time. Trinity Force into the Essence Reaver gives you 40% cooldown reduction, add 2 items. W into Q max means that you are a complete beast throughout the mid game, and it's not a bad amount of crit either, Quick Shot. If you get the Rage Blade after that, you just turn into a monster.
Wow, Rage Blade third? I think you've just given Pulse a hernia. Rage Blade first is the only way to play.
Well, he already did that. So technically Naru gave Pulse the hernia. Pulse, you still have to show up tomorrow, by the way. There's lots of casting to do.
Oh, yes. We'll find out how Naru does decide to itemize. He's already got a level advantage over Kira. CS is even across the top lane is between Thaldron and Smurf. And Holy Phoenix has still got that advantage from earlier on in the matchup.
And that's a lot of credit you have to actually give to Thaldron up there in that lane, because Smurf should be able to bully this fairly heavily in the range versus melee matchup, and does look like he's going for an aggressive build, but just not getting as much done.
Look, I'll give all the props to Thaldron that he deserves, but I think I'm going to give even more to Crystal. The ganking presence, you know, 2 successful pressures up top from Smurf, blowing the flash early, 3 kills. Wow. Take a look at this. Tempered Fate will hold Demonko in place. Crystal, will you donate a kill? Flash forward, will get the flash out of Demonko. Cocoon has been used, and Demonko is going to nom, regurgitate Lex under the tower, and the first really unsuccessful gank that Crystal has shown.
Yeah, it certainly is. They use a lot for it as well. You know, Bard uses the Ignite as well as the ultimate. As Damashka getting bullied by Dumbledore.
I know Evelyn was banned out, but Damashka may as well be playing an invisible champion because we've not seen him. He's power farming up, sure. 53 CS at 13 minutes. He's got a big lead over his opposite number, but this is the first gank, and it will result in a kill. That is a rocket jump over onto Holy Phoenix. Teleport arrives to Thaldron, but he does not want to be there. Unstoppable Force has already been used, and he is in trouble. Cocoon connects there onto Dimashka, so Crystal gonna save the life of Thaldron, but he 1 for 0.
And Lex with the smooth moves just flashed a very short-range Malphite ultimate there to make sure that Thaldron wasn't able to pick up a kill in return. You saw that Thaldron was sticking around that mid lane, wanted to see if he could gank Kira, instead had to go bottom. Smurf didn't have the Mega Gnar available, sorry. So it is just a 1 for nothing. And slowly but surely, the CIS region is closing this gap.
Slowly, indeed.
Well, when you look at Turkey's last game, anything's slow.
Yes, yeah, well, that's definitely the benchmark to be set. A very, very brief pause as Turkey now, they've got themselves a small gold lead. That teleport from Thaldron did not pay off at all, really. Props to Lex for flashing away from that unstoppable force, but I think if you look at both teleports that Thaldron and Smurf have used in the 15 minutes to this bottom lane, they've both been maybe optimistic is the right word.
Yeah, 100%. And what I want to point out is that Smurf's job is to win the lane. Thaldron's job is to get into other lanes and win it. So on these teleport plays, Smurf really needs to just be there to deny the Malphite from hitting a big ultimate and setting something up for his team. So credit to Smurf for being able to follow successfully into those teleports, but Tholdren needs to make sure that his positioning is a little bit more on point, try and get a bit deeper with these teleports. Both of them have been quite shallow, and use that unstoppable force to start something positive for his team.
Especially when you consider the power of all the saving life tools inside the kit of the CIS. We have heard from our League Ops team, guys, there is a apparent vision bug which we're busy investigating. The QA dudes and League Ops are on stage looking at all the possibilities, so we'll give you an update as we hear more. But again, another very close game in the laning phase. They've traded blows back and forth. For the most part, CS is pretty even between most of the lanes. It's only Kira that's struggling somewhat, and that is thanks to repeated ganks from Crystal, who has had a very impactful Elise. This is what you want to see from this jungle Elise.
But the other thing you have to do in League of Legends is very easy to draw 50-50 comparisons, but what does each team bring to the table? And when you look across at the CIS region, they undoubtedly have a stronger late game. You know, they've got all of this help to put on top of Lex, and he's going to be nearly impossible to pick because of the Tahm Kench. So really, you would expect Naru to, with the Trinity Force, be able to take over this lane, really get cracking. You expect Elise to be the strongest early game jungler in the game. And to only have, I guess, a 600 gold lead at 14 minutes with how well Crystal started this map is credit to the CIS region for just being like, whoa, we're not participating anymore. We know we need to scale, so we're just going into scaling mode.
I think that's important to note because we have seen Dimashka power farming. He's got a 20 CS advantage over Crystal, and yes, he is behind in gold thanks to the kills, of course, but he's keeping himself somewhat relevant. We've seen a great explosive cast which sets up the kill onto Holy Phoenix earlier. So for CIS, it is the patient game. I think the next 10 minutes will determine how successful this strategy will be, because with the Triforce, with whatever Naru builds next, if it's going to go into your Essence Reaver / Ragebait build, maybe that's the power spike they need to overtake.
Yeah, it certainly isn't. At that stage of the game, no one can split push against him because he just closes gaps so quickly that even, I guess, the relevant safety and Gnar brings just isn't enough to escape from Aurelia. I think you can even tell that this is a game plan out of the CIS region just by looking at Dimashka's item. He's gone the Tracker's Blade. He just wants the ward and the vision to be able to counter gank successfully. And you know, that he had one really good cast where he set it up for his Tristana there in the bottom lane. And I'm expecting him to just wait for summoning spells to come back up, continue to ward up the map and just play that very supportive Gragas and just force Crystal to make plays, because now all the pressure is on this guy. I said it. He took all 3 kills. And if he doesn't make an impact now, the rest of the game is on him.
Yeah, and it's also important to note that Crystal picked a 1v1 against Kira's Lulu and lost. A little bit embarrassingly, maybe forgetting or underestimating that wild growth. So, real margin for error. So we are back in game. Nothing gained or lost here for either squad. And Naru getting very close to this level 11, actually just hit it. So, going to have the ability to dash onto Kira at a moment's notice.
Yeah, and you know, when you have a look at how Crystal has played this game, it has been very good with being able to arrive at the right part of the map. So if he can continue to do that, you know, I'm looking at the top lane right now with how overextended Smurf is and Tholdren's ult about to become back available. There is still room for the Elise to become active. It's just that the time will run out where he is very impactful in this game as they scale up.
Dimashka. Oh, Dumbledore rather than Dimonko. Gonna have a little bit of a trade, but that magical journey is gonna get Dumbledore out. There are too many Ds in this game. But that gold lead is now insignificant. It does not mean a thing. Consumables have more likely totaled the 500 gold difference, and it is in fact Smurf that is able to use that range advantage. While he's not bullying Tholdren as a champion as much as we had expected, he's taken the tower, uncontested with no real threat, so well played.
And this is exactly where Nav becomes just honestly a pain in the backside for a melee champion, because he can throw out his Q pretty much on cooldown with that Black Cleaver and just continue to chunk through. And once again, Dimashka, bottom lane, forcing Turkey off the turret, so now they're becoming much more active.
Yeah, and they can really destroy this turret quickly if Lex wants to put that satchel onto it. But when a Cosmic Binding stuns up 2, Dumbledore is going to say, "You shall not take my tower today."
And all 3 top of the map members for Turkey disappeared there. So CIS did not want to go any more aggressive. Instead, they're letting Smurf push further up the lane.
happy to see that Smurf was able to back away. That was a very, very good tempered fate. It stunned up Lex and Demonco. Demonco's going to eat Lex, spit him out in a moment. If Double Doge can find the Cosmic Binding, it may be enough, but it will not. He's going to sink the fangs in from Crystal. Holy Phoenix is looking for more. There comes Dimashka. He's not going to be able to knock anybody away. And eventually, it's Crystal that picks up another kill. I think we'll forgive him for this one.
Yeah, we certainly will. That was a much better play for Crystal. He flew in there at the last moment and secured a kill this time around. Although Lex surviving and continuing to farm up is still good things for the CIS region. Maybe a bit of an overreach by sticking around on that turret. Very telegraphed play because you know they'd already been down there. And it was this time Dumbledore's catching them out of position with a Bardock.
Managing to stun them both up. Naru and Kira are doing battle, and look at that. Wild Growth comes up. Ignite is ticking through, and Kira will not go down, but forced to run away. Naru is taking more control of this lane.
Yeah, he certainly is. Now that that Trinity Force has been reached, able to really exert some pressure. Whilst that was happening, Dimashka also had his flash burnt in the bottom lane, so even more pressure from Crystal coming out right now. But they still want this bottom lane turret.
Yeah, they do. It'll only take, really, I think, one wave. If Lex gets all 4 autos and his E down, that tower should drop. But Turkey have got pretty good wave clearance safety. That Make It Rain from Holy Phoenix can drop those minions very, very quickly if they got close enough. But no follow-up pressure from CIS.
Yeah, so nothing coming out there. Although now Naru on Kira.
Now, Wild Growth still unavailable. Flash away from Kira as Crystal actually flashed for that cocoon. All of a sudden, it's Turkey that want to take the tower. Unstoppable forces available for Tholdren. If Kira steps too close, there's no flash to get away. The risk is too great, and he opts not to. The tower is being taken down. Demonco will make his way towards the mid lane, but simply too late. And Smurf, don't think he can take this one down yet, especially not with this teleport. Tholdren wants to contest.
I think he's going to stick around.
He's going to try. Tholdren's going to slow the attack speed. The minions will not be able to take it down. And that survives by the skin of its teeth.
So unless they fight right now, that's really inconsequential because it's pretty much taken off the map anyway, and I'm sure Smurf with teleport available will go back up there, but maybe a little bit even on the mind right now of the CIS top laner. He's like, I cancelled an auto attack. That should have been some more gold that I'm going to go back with. And we'll see whether they overstay for it, and it's something Turkey can punish.
So that is the real question. Sometimes the juiciest targets cost the most, because you think they're so easy to take.
Yeah, this is practically free. Oh my god, why did I die?
Yeah, so Holy Phoenix going to keep pushing out this wave. Not really a lot of shopping yet for a little while, and unfortunately, you are not the god of mid lane Irelia today, Spawn, because it is a Hex Drink, a second item.
But I do respect the Berserker Greaves at least. That's a very nice pickup coming out there. Means that he will be that aggressive Irelia that we're looking for in the mid game. Because once again, I can't stress this enough, even though they will do relevant, I guess, team fight damage in the late game, it relies so much on Wombo combo, which we've already seen is difficult to execute, versus what is pretty much just a protect the AD carry comp coming out of the CIS region. So Naru needs to get busy now if he's going to stay relevant.
So Naru. This is the story we've been talking about for the last 10 minutes. Maybe it could have been different if those first 2 kills had been secured by Naru instead of Crystal. But
here he goes again.
Let's find out. Oh, dashes backwards. Tempered Fate holds Kira in place, but there's no follow-up. Dumbledore and Naru are not speaking the same strategy.
Naru is like, guys, get out of my lane. Like, that is 2 people that have now come into my lane and just done the exact opposite of what I want to do. I've just juked a Gragas ultimate. Like, Dragon's just come up. We could definitely use a Bard ultimate right now. We have all the positioning in the world. Like, I am winning this lane solo.
And not anymore. With the tools available, all of a sudden CIS, they're going to group themselves up. Dumbledore does not find the stun against the wall onto Dimashka. He's going to be able to get away. He's got those Ionian Boots of Lucidity, a little bit different on a Jungle Gragas with some HP, and we have the...
Just summon a spell cooldown now, which is really good for the flash body slam initiation, and that's probably the only reliable initiation they have. So I actually really like the pickup coming out of Dimashka, especially given that there's very mixed damage. So Merc Tread's not really going to do much for the Gragas if he's getting CC, probably in the wrong space.
And I guess if he's the one taking the CC, you don't mind so much, really.
Because Triss ain't getting hit.
Exactly. Give Lex more time to work around. So Dumbledore's going to move back into lane here. Holy Phoenix is going to take a lot of damage. The exhaust is out. Make It Rain comes down. Crystals join the fight once again. A flash used to dodge a cocoon, but look at your mini-map. Naru's coming in from behind. Dimashka's in the jungle, and it's all of a sudden Naru that looked to be pinched. Tower secured by the Turkish TCL squad to once again take control of the gold lead. But it is ever so slight and ever so little at 21 minutes in. Kira's made his way down this middle lane. A flash from Holy Phoenix gets his explosive cast to knock him closer to safety, but Summoner spell blown and Tower killed top. So trading blow for blow, objective for objective, and with that tower, CIS have the gold lead.
Yeah, everything's pretty much tied up right now, but as we said, so much is being used for Turkey to get their advantage versus just Smurf chipping away at turrets, that they will be able to secure this dragon for themselves. First of the game, the added stats at 22 minutes, definitely nothing to scoff at, and they will go back and probably be at those 2-item pickups that we talk about in these Tristana comps.
That might just be the latest first dragon of the day. We'll have to review that a little later tonight. And Turkey will get themselves their third tower to keep even with CIS's 3 towers. They've got themselves 4 of the oracles when it comes to the summoners. And
wow.
this is a departure. We're seeing so many of those as the day has gone on. The ability to just place that ridiculous distance ward is, you know, very highly prioritized. And Rylai's Crystal Scepter from Crystal. So at least, you know, he's investing that gold into DPS.
Certainly is, and he realizes that he needs to be one of the people, along with Naru, that kills Lex. And that's what he's going for right now. One thing I will say is they're running a kind of pick comp with the Bard, Malphite, and Elise, so I really don't like the 4 blue trinkets coming out of the Turkish lineup. I think they do need some red, especially because Dimashka went for that Tracker's Blade. There is a Sightstone picked up, and still a yellow trinket on Smurf. Means that they can get a lot of wards out around these areas and stop the picks.
Let's see how Turkey handles it. I mean, maybe they look for the skirmishes. I don't really know at this point. There's been no movement towards the Rift Herald because of how pushed in Thaldrun was, and Smurf needed to get the tower pressure. Dragon was ridiculously low priority for both of these teams. And I just feel like Turkey's not playing aggressive enough with their early to mid-game champions, which CIS is extremely happy about. So we'll see what works out.
Yeah, definitely agree. And one thing that I always say about Elise, she's one of those champions, if people are walking into you, she's fantastic. It is so easy to hit. Wow, Holy Phoenix caught out.
Here's a little bit. The tongue lash will not connect. The slow from the barrel does. The tempered fate will keep Dimashka and Dimonko locked up. Dumbledore is looking for more. That will at least reveal the champions for now. Unstoppable Force will catch the Fat Man and the Catfish. Crystal is looking for Dimashka. Dimonko's going to look to throw down that Grey Hell. He's going to swallow, at the very least, Dimashka. Now Dimonko's down. That pops out Dimashka. It's Crystal with the double kill. 6 and 1. He has all of the kills.
And on the back end of that fight, Smurf was actually dueling Naru, who got the better of it, but Lex and Kira were not hitting anyone. And this is people with 4 summoner spells available. They just completely seed over 2 kills, and that means this mid-game comp, they're going to start up Baron.
And one of the most difficult things about playing Protect the ADC is working with your ADC. CIS have maybe not got the most experience with one another. Look at this, Baron is going low, down to 50% HP. Turkey peel away. Do not want to run the risk of a Mega Gnar against the wall.
If any region has experience playing with each other, it is the CIS. This is 4 members of the hard random team that were able to take it out. They come together on this lineup, and, you know, that was just straight up miscommunication. Do we want to go? Do we not want to go? Great Bard ultimate out of Dumbledore. We've actually seen a couple of really impressive Bards today, by the way. Just able to curtail all that aggression, and then the flank came through from Thaldrun and set up the fight.
Well, unfortunately for CIS, he ended up losing it. And of course,
wow, he's going Bork. Now I really don't like your build, Naru. You lost me.
Does not have the support of Spawn. 0-0-2, still got a CS advantage, but again, it means less and less, 20 CS as the game progresses.
I just can't stress how good 40% cooldown reduction is if you don't have to invest anything into it. Essence Reaver is a great item without the cooldown reduction. The fact that it gives you the extra 30% you need is just so strong, and that's why we're seeing champions like the Misfortune, like the Lucian come back into the meta, because with the cooldown reduction cap, they just do so much work.
Well, Naru doesn't seem to agree right now. But then again, he's not doing terrible, not doing great. Thaldren's got unstoppable force and a grouped up CIS, but there's no follow-up, no bullet time to lay down, no Tempered Fate to lock people in. Look at the minimap. Crystal is so far away, as is Naru. Bullet time is just to defend the tower, and it doesn't even do that. Tempered Fate will lock up both Kira and Lex, and it will not matter. Dimashka as well as Smurf pick themselves up a kill. Now CIS, they're looking to siege up. They've got themselves one tower and they've got themselves a numbers advantage. They're going to wait for the minions to conga line in and maybe look for some more damage on the center turrets.
Yeah, they literally just traded some bottom lane farm and a blue buff for mid lane and a kill, and they're not done.
No, they are not. Thaldren still has his unstoppable force, which he uses defensively to get away. Smurf's about to go mega. He finds himself some damage onto Dumbledore as Lex picks up the kill. CIS, they have activated that 2-item spike, has allowed them to ruffle stomp Turkey. Got themselves 2 towers, got themselves 3 kills. They're going to take an inhibitor turret. They may even go for the inhibitor.
And this is what we said, turrets are butter. Naru still looking for a flank with Crystal. There he goes.
A back away here from CIS. Naru, you're strong, you're not that strong. Instead, he's just gonna threaten them away.
Lex has got red buff. They still have everything available from Kira. They need to back away right now, see if they can secure some of that vision. And this is what I said. They were going for red dots. They just gave up the whole path down the mid lane for Naru to secure away from himself. And sure, he's farming very well in this game, nearly at the 10 per minute mark, but that is a lot to give up at this part of the game.
Exposed inhibitor. One more mistake like that from Turkey and that could be game.
Especially with a Tristana. This is like what Tristana comps have always done, you know. Keep her safe, win a team fight, take everything off the map. She destroys neutrals and turrets just incredibly quickly. They'll get the Dragon back in response, but probably not enough at this stage. Crystal might even be caught.
Crystal's in trouble. Dimashka's looking for it. Explosive Cask is available, and the Tempered Fate should be enough. Kira does not connect with the Glitter Lance, though, and Dumbledore just looking for that Cosmic Binding. TP follows through from Thaldren. Unstoppable Force is available. Let's see if CIS group up. Timonko gets stuck against the wall, and in the stun is taken out. Naru's burst is very, very high. Smurf is about to go mega. Locks Thaldren up against the wall, trying to interrupt that Unstoppable Force. If CIS group, Thaldren will go in. Instead, CIS lose just one. You cannot deny that even though Naru's not dominating, that was a scary amount of damage. First kill on not Crystal.
Yeah, it certainly is. They're going in again.
Holy Phoenix is down. His positioning is simply not good enough. Dimashka, he did not show up in the laning phase, but he is in the mid game. I think Smurf even teleported in here behind Thaldren. Another defensive unstoppable force is what I'm expecting. The satchel will not explode quickly enough. Smurf is looking to hunt. The boomerang connects, and with the help of Lulu, he gets himself another kill. CIS, they are just wrangling Turkey.
And look where Crystal is. Once again, another big creep wave that they have to absorb. They just haven't controlled that part of the map well enough. And this time, Lex is there for the team fight, able to get it successfully. And, you know, we talk about the protect the Tristana. That was protect the Smurf. He had help picks this time, and that grabs him another kill. All of a sudden, going towards that Sterix, a very real threat in the top lane now.
And what a difference. What a difference in games for CIS. Earlier today against LATAM, they looked lost in the mid game and then got, you know, really ran over. Now all of a sudden, they play patiently, they play controlled, they kept their item spikes, and the moment a window of opportunity presents itself, CIS took multiple towers, multiple kills, and they did it back to back.
Yeah, they certainly did, and you know, it's kind of the Turkish lineup leaving that door open. CIS, they make a mistake. They get one person killed. All of a sudden, Crystal's like, well, that's me done. I'm going back to the top lane. And CIS are like, well, we can still fight this. Sure, the pick potential becomes more relevant because you don't have your Tahm Kench to protect your AD carry, but you still have all the tools to make Tristana do ridiculous amounts of damage, especially now that she's got a second attack speed item.
So rapid fire cannon to increase the range even further. A champion like Tristana, who at level 13 has an extended range thanks to the draw bead. Smurf is about to go mega, so that is a timer that they need to respect. Started to back away, and Turkey's not looking to engage. The gold lead is still really somewhat insignificant, but that doesn't really matter because of the headroom of CIS's team composition and the synergy that the champions offer one another.
That's what it comes down to right now. Naru's build is committed to split push. He's not a good team fighter right now, doesn't have defensive boots. Pretty much, he's probably one of the squishiest members on the map, to be honest, although he is level 16. So he needs to get into a solo lane and be able to take it to Smurf in a 1v1 and get rid of one of the tools that CIS have. On the other side of the map, you just group up as 5. You're a death ball comp with an open inhib and a very real Baron threat because of the lack of sweepers on the Turkish lineup. And it looks like right now, CIS, unless they really fail a team fight, have all the win conditions in their favor.
Yeah, Kira's the only sort of like super important member without a flash available. So maybe once he gets that up and running, Kira and Lex have the tools to, you know, dodge, dip, duck, dive, dodge again in a team fight. That might give them the bravery to move forward. Look at the vision, though. CIS have got some great deep vision in the top half of the map. You can see Irelia and Gnar going toe to toe up top, and it is in fact Smurf that is losing. Naru's build is doing a lot of damage. Thaldren looking for an opportunity. Flash, Force could connect. No priority target is available.
And once again, in a 1v1, Naru is ridiculously strong and will be able to chunk out turrets even with the build he has gone. But as long as Smurf stays safe and doesn't die, this should happen.
Well, Naru's getting bursted down. He's tanking up turret shots. Lex bounce, an auto attack or two, and all of a sudden, it is Turkey on the retreat. Thaldren is going to get knocked backwards. Unstoppable Force defensively again. I wonder if he knows which is the direction to win the game, because Thaldren's not going that way. Smurf is going to hop over his teammates looking for more. The rocket jump forward from Lex will allow him a couple of auto attacks onto Dumble Doge. He will not be able to get the kill. Spoiler, Dumble Doge survives for now.
Yeah, and the Spooky Ghost even used defensively off that Frost Queen's claim. And now all of a sudden, CIS moved back towards that Baron. Crystal is looking for a flank. They need to deal with their sideways this time around. So they will recall, reset, and look for another team fight.
So CIS, absolute control when grouped up. And that control dwindles when Naru can find somebody to fight. So how does CIS deal with this? How do they get the map pressure to disallow Naru from playing in a lane he wants to?
I'm just looking at the mid lane, like go top together as a group, push the wave out to about equal, and then just take everyone and go mid. The threat of an open inhibitor with the Tristana is just way too great at this stage of the game, and Naru will be forced to group. And you can see right now, that's exactly what they're doing. Shoving it out as hard as possible, gives you the Baron vision, and will be able to just continue that threat.
And very, very shortly, Smurf's teleport will be available. TP is up for Thaldren, but he's already in this middle lane. Naru is starting to make his way back, so he's warded up the jungle. I like the vision that is down across the map here for the Turkish TCL squad. And CIS are paying the respect to Naru and Turkey, and they've backed away. Not going to run the risk.
Certainly have. As soon as Naru disappears off the map, they don't really want to fight. But they just have so much in their favor. The longer this game goes, the stronger the Tristana gets. She's not going anywhere right now. And they are turning their eyes once again towards the Baron. They've left Misfortune, Holy Phoenix down the bottom to take Dragon, but Baron's been started.
It really is. This boost of swiftness going to have to pay dividends. Tempered Fate catches 4, locking Lex up in the air of that rocket jump. They've got the kill on Naru, who was one of the strongest champions for the Turkish squad. Now they turn their attention to Baron. Smite is available for Crystal, as well as the percentage on his Q. Thaldren blocked up Lex and Kira. Lex is down. Lex is down. That's the damage for CIS. It's a shutdown as Holy Phoenix has got himself too. Demonka's trying to run away. That Grey Health will keep him up for a few seconds longer. He's going to eat the Malphite before getting dropped himself. Triple kill for Holy Phoenix. Takes a magical journey, looking to hunt down Smurf, as Smurf is on full retreat in the river. Kira's up in the top lane. Holy Phoenix will get the last hit, securing the 4th unofficial quadra, and Kira is shut down.
And all of a sudden, Baron is open up for Turkey. Just seems 4v5s are the way to go in this game because they're able to take it, and the cardinal sin of a protect the AD carry comp. Mid laner stands on top of the AD carry, and Double Doge makes him pay.
What a swing in power. Now all of a sudden, CIS need to wave clear with a Lulu against Baron empowered minions, a Tristana's auto attacks, and really that's it. Plus Naru's split push threat gets even bigger.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. You just saw the stun there, layered beautifully with a CC from Thaldrin. Man, the Kira couldn't even get his ultimate off. Lex died in the air from the Misfortune ultimate, and then Holy Phoenix takes over the rest of the map. We saw what he could do on Grave in the ultimate bravery. This time on Misfortune, having another good performance. And in the end, he even donates the kill.
Dumbledoge has to be a wizard, because that play was magical. The Tempered Fate into the stun just set absolutely everything up. And, you know, you mentioned the Bard plays all throughout the day. Yamato was talking about Bard earlier on the desk. It feels like the most impactful support champion we've seen across all 6 of our IWCA games.
Oh, that is so bad from Thaldrin. Once again, gets caught out, has to burn the ultimate on the retreat. That means that a little bit of the pressure that they're hoping to build up here, Turkey does fall away, although they're still going. Teleport is available, but with no ultimate, this might be the CIS region's fight to take.
So let's take a look. CIS need to find the right targets. They need to deal with Holy Phoenix's
clutch
misfortune.
stun from Dumbledoge means that no engage will come out of Damashka, and they will successfully back away.
Yeah, empowered recalls gonna allow Turkey the time to make whatever decision they want. Dragon was even picked up by Turkey in that previous fight as well, so that's 3 in our 40-minute game. Baron will still be up for around a minute 45, roughly, which means Naru still has more time and more tools to play with. So all of that good work, 15 to 20 minutes of positive play from CIS undone in one monumental team fight.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't. They were really drawing the game to the point that they wanted. You can see that Lex, he's nearly capped out in items. This is exactly when they wanted to put the screws in on the Turkey lineup. And, you know, Naru still has 2 item slots available. If he goes Frozen Heart into something like a Randuin's Omen, will become very difficult to kill on that backline, and maybe Turkey can sneak one away here.
So let's take a look. Turkey, of course, looking to secure themselves a victory after losing earlier today. Tower number 5 will fall in this middle lane. Dumbledoge was hanging just on the outskirts, trying to set up a Cosmic Binding, but Turkey have split themselves up. Thaldrin, Major Beefcake, gonna pull the attention of Smurf. Teleport is up. The rest of Turkey are gonna head up to this top lane. Dimashka's gonna get dropped down by bullet time. And without the jungler and the disengage from that explosive cast, Tempered Fate will lock up Lex and Kira. The Cosmic Binding stuns Kira as well. And Turkey get themselves yet
Holy
another
Phoenix, what
kill.
the heck?
Naru just obliterates Lex, and with 4 members of CIS down, this might just be the game. Turkey, they're onto the inhibitor turret, they're onto the inhibitor, and there are minions with Baron conga lining onto the Nexus turret. Turkey just punish CIS. They punish to protect the AD. They've got a Nexus turret. They've got a second. And on Thanksgiving, Turkey picked themselves up a win in their 2nd game at IWCA.
I do not know what the heck just happened. Once again, Dumbledoge clutch stun onto both the mid laner and AD carry. Once is pretty unforgivable. Twice costs them the game in the end. And Kira and Lex just on completely different wavelengths. They cheat through the jungle. We even put base gates in.
Unbelievable. Dumbledoge,
God, he is so good.
the reason they picked up victories, turning the game around. And you know, it's not all lost for CIS when you think about how well they played that mid game. When you think of the decision, actually, how well they played the early and mid. Because they were under pressure. They had lanes that were going to lose a little. And they kept gold so even for so long. They pushed well, they played well, but unfortunately, they just got outplayed by the Dumbledoge.
Yeah, it was just Dumbledoge coming up with clutch play after clutch play. And, you know, you have to say that he and Holy Phoenix definitely started the laning phase well at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of Damashka's good work on the Gragas this time around. Much better performance out of the jungler for the CIS region, but they just were cheating around the map. I think that they felt like if they could just get the one team fight they were looking for, they would be completely fine. They started like not putting down the vision they needed to. Like even Smurf was greeting after kills on Thaldron. They just weren't grouping up like they were in the mid-game, and in the end, it came back and bit them really hard.
And you see all of the beauty of the team compositions, the strengths that they have, the split pushing from Naru on Irelia, the team fight protect the ADC power, but the weaknesses at the same time. The moment you lose that ADC and the moment Kira and Lex, they were holding hands saying, hey, look, I need you close enough to wild growth. Oops, we got caught by another stun. Oops, we got caught by another unstoppable force, and it ends up costing them.
And even beyond that, you know, we talk about Tom Kench's strength. Just send Tristana through that way if you want to look for the fight, nice and sped up, and then Tom can take her away.
Yeah.
If you put two together, Tom's mouth is pretty big, but it is not big enough for a Lulu and a Tristana. And Demongo, poor guy, was just like, I can only save one of you.
Yeah, and that was the problem of the team composition. It relied so much on positioning and vision. And you can start looking at some of the decision-making around wards. For a long time in the mid sort of 15-minute mark, there was a lot of vision around Baron, but there wasn't a lot of indication to try clear it out, gain control of that area. It was just sort of trading wards back and forth for a little bit until eventually Turkey found the team fight that won them the game.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, we were saying to Naru that you need to come through and come up with a big play. At the end of the game, he finally did. No hesitation. As soon as he saw Tristana by herself, he was in underneath that turret, executing. I thought even Holy Phoenix might have gone too deep, was saved by the Buster shot there. But in the end, that was really good. Like, as soon as the go button was hit, Turkey knew when they could win the game.
And it was just, again, a really great game. So Turkey end up on the day 1-1. CIS are now 0-2. So got a couple of teams starting to filter through the cracks here, starting to see, you know, where the power rankings are. But for, you know, let's talk about Turkey just very briefly, considering their two games. Really dramatic performance against SEA earlier today. You know, they had some great team fights and some terrible team fights. And now, strong early game, weird mid game, and then good team fights late. So what do we make of Turkey, who's a region who historically has performed very well at IWC events?
Yeah, they certainly have. And the first question I'm going to raise is, Crystal, you're not having the performances we're used to seeing. A very good early game jungler, a very good team fighting jungler. Sure, it was 100% of kill participation, but I feel like their bottom lane is where they're really going to shine. Holy Phoenix having a great tournament so far. Give that guy some more support, and he will carry you to good things.
And give Dumbledore Bod, and he can just set things up and help you pick up wins.
He's a wizard.
He is a wizard indeed. So that does it for the 5v5s. To talk about how that game played out, we head back over to the analyst desk.
Well, I saw a lot of you, me inclusive, frowning when Spawn mentioned that Holy Phoenix has been having an incredible tournament of 2 games to read off, of course, because during the game, that is certainly not what I heard here.
I was quite the opposite for most of the game, to be honest. And there was a couple of parts at the last bit. That's not to say he's playing badly, but I was singing his praises coming into this about how good a player he has been previously on a wildcard stage. I feel a little underwhelmed just from some of his performances in lane, looking at decisions where he's out of position, gets blasted back. A lot of this is to do with kind of like playing as a team and the right positioning, but I feel like we've seen him play better, but he's getting better as the games are going on.
So I feel like it could be him. It could be the team that he's playing with, and maybe he's playing like he's used to his old team, and this is an entirely new one. He's been caught out of position twice in that game alone, and that was a big deal because the CIS team, they got back into that pretty much off the back of him getting caught twice.
I mean, he's just aggressive. That's how Holy Phoenix works as a player, and it's both been to his benefit in the lane and in some of the late game team fights we saw, and to his detriment when he's getting caught out, eating random stuns, eating CCs, and just getting blown up. CIS honestly almost won that game, trading on Holy Phoenix's poor positioning.
He also had boots of swiftness, which make absolutely zero sense because he's a misfortune with a strut anyway. You don't need them, and I'm pretty sure that Naru had his Berserker Greaves in that middle lane on Aurelia and just decided to go the tanky build.
More speed!
Exactly, yeah, just went the super fast build, you know?
Gotta go fast. You mentioned Naru in that mid lane, also someone that we definitely had a rise in. I think it was Yamato Cannon as well, and he was up against Kira in that matchup, and he absolutely actually bodied him with Aurelia. Fantastic performance. Yeah,
really strong performance on Aurelia. You know, we've looked at Naru's earlier performance, and we're like, it wasn't quite what we were expecting from, you know, all the big talk that Yamato had about Naru. Much better this time. Sad the kill didn't go to him very early on. Stacking a lot of kills on the jungler normally backfires. The number of times I've seen like a Lee Sin or an Elise with 6 kills that just can never carry the game.
SOFM, anyone?
Yeah, wow. I mean, Naru finally managed to get there. Got a couple of items building you know, a little off what you'd normally expect from an Aurelius. You know, I know we were talking about it, Rusty, quite a bit, but going for Blade of the Ruined King with the more of Malmortius as well. Bit of a different build.
Item builds, again, could be a little bit questionable. I do want to touch on the fact that Crystal did get all of the kills.
Yeah.
That was bad, because he chose to take the kills and delayed Naru's power spike on the Aurelia. You're going for these very aggressive itemization choices, not going for the Guinzus, which is a super efficient item. You could have had 2 items, have all the kills on Crystal, and be perfectly fine. Instead, he's going for this other build with the Blade of the Ruined King in there. Crystal has all the kills, slows him down, but of course once Naru was online, he was well and truly destroying everything.
Yeah, and definitely because the kills didn't go to the carries, they couldn't accelerate their power and maybe finish the game out closer, because it got pretty tight there for Turkey at a certain point until they get this amazing team fight. Let's get it up on the screen. And, well, they show what their comp is designed to do, Pastry Time.
Yeah, so you're right. Super slow game, honestly, and that does favor the CIS team just because they have Tristana, got a lot of ways to protect her, and this started off really well. So let's roll the replay in. They get a good pick here. This is exactly how the Siletta side have gone in, but Thaldron, right, goes straight in, gets the Dumbledore lands the initial binding, and Crystal just to the side as well actually stuns Demonke, so he can't follow up after that team fight. And from that point onwards, you're never winning that game. Bard Q, Malphite ulti, MF ulti, Crystal on point on the flank, everything goes right there.
Yeah, everything going in their favor indeed. And well, Dumbledore Jurino, wow. Well, going forth with his legacy here, fantastic board play.
So good.
Yep.
Like, Dumbledore's an excellent player, as you can see them chase down the last few kills. We've seen how good he's been. He's, you know, been the butt of some pretty awesome puns, of course, in previous events as well. We've seen his Thresh. Now we're going to see his Bard. Everything the man touches just seems to work out. He literally kept his team in that game and then single-handedly won it.
I was hoping that you would say everything he touches turns to gold.
I was going there. I was so going there at that one.
You had it. It was there.
I was going to jump in and you got it. But the one time that actually happened, one thing that in the very first game of the day, I was sat behind the scenes kind of like, Bard misfortune. This is a recipe for disaster. There was a team fight where it didn't go right. Oh dear, that it really is a recipe for a missed team fight. We only saw one of those, so I mean, generally that's been good for the day.
Yeah, definitely. And Turkey being able to, well, clean their game up and get that first win. On the other hand, CIS, not the best start for them. 0-2. Do we see promise enough for them to fight back?
I think there's glimmers of hope between what they have done. They don't feel like they're very good as a team just yet. Their early game definitely is lacking. They come into the middle and late game, though, and they do feel like they're a completely different team. They seem to just come online, a switch flicks in their brain, and suddenly they want to win the game all over again. So moving into the next games, definitely.
Yeah, I feel like that's a very important factor. We have 4 days of games, and all these teams have maybe even only played together since today or yesterday. So I think we're going to see some considerable growth from all the regions as we go forth. But we're going to take a quick break. That's it for the 5 versus 5 portion of the day. But we have a big chunk of 1 versus 1s coming up right after this.